Welcome to JTgatoring. So today we are going to be going over the John boat transom. We're going to be fixing that up. So stay tuned. So today we are going to be tackling the planning stage of this John boat transom. We need to figure out what materials we need, what all needs to get done, and how I want to go about this. And this does include you guys. So there's a few options that I have laid out, and we'll go ahead and get started. And real quick, just for those who may not want to watch the entire video, here's the plans right here. Go ahead and give it a pause if you don't want to watch the whole video. But if you want my explanation on what I want to do, continue watching. Thank you. All right, so we'll just go over this real quick before I get to the main drawing. We're taking out this triangle piece. We're going to have to worry about the rivets on the floor and these holes here. We're going to go ahead and remove these bolts. Transom plate is going to stay. We got to get the aluminum out, then get the old wood out, put the new wood in. Probably going to try to reuse this piece of aluminum, and we'll go from there. If you can see here, this cap is 1.75 inches, 1.75 inches. So it could fit 1.75 inches of wood. Right now, there's only 1 inch of wood. So we're going to try and fill that as much as possible. Here's a picture from the back. This is just a simple trapezoid piece. It only goes up, or I should say goes down from the top 12 inches. So you have about a 3-inch play from the bottom of the boat to the bottom of the transom wood. These rivets on the back, I'm probably just going to use nuts and bolts like I did for the transom plate. On the floor, when I do take out the triangle piece, I will use rivets here, and that's where we will test the different kinds of rivets that I want to use and what people recommend. Again, from the inside, you can see this plate. There is extra supports here. I'm not going to touch those. Those are going to stay. Just an overview. We're going to get into the other drawing, but just to show you here, there's going to be a 2x4 that goes up against the seat. That'll be your bolt holes bolted to the seat. I may screw it. I may do the riv nuts and use bolts that way. We'll see when we get there. Split the difference from the floor. We'll probably go over 5, 8, 10 inches, whatever seems good. We're going to go to 2x4s to the transom, and that's how it's going to support this transom. Now we'll go ahead and get into the actual drawings themselves. Let's start at the bottom left. This is the front view. The bottom width of the boat is 36 inches. The top is 50.25 inches. This is the transom itself. The boat does get wider as you go further down the boat, but at the transom, this is the measurement. That's the transom plate that I have on it. Everything is to scale besides a few things, but for what you need to know, everything is to scale. So on the right side here, that 12 inches, that is how much the wood supports the transom itself. The transom height is 15 inches. The wood is 12 inches. So we'll go to the top view. This is the seat here. Let me help you all out. So this here is the seat, this whole thing here. What I want to use is 2x4's actual measurement is 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So this is a 2x4. This is a 2x4. And this is a 2x4. This is the bottom width of the boat. That's your 36 inches. And then these solid lines on the side is the top rail of your boat. This is the transom that's already in it. So this is the transom that's in it now. That's the green plate. These are the bolt holes that go through that transom. So right now there's a little triangle piece here. That's what you see here. It's off to the side and it doesn't support the rest of this. So that's where it flexes a lot. So we're going to remove that. It's no longer going to be there. And we're going to put in the 2x4s. So this is a 2x4. We're going to bolt it to the seat. And then we're going to use 2x4s in the center to go to the transom to help the top of that transom from going away from the boat. It's sort of twisting the top of that transom. So we want to get, let's go over to the right. We want to get that support up as high as we can to stop this bending here from going back and forth, because that mud motor, the power is direct up here. The tail goes out and your engine sits here. So that bracket sits at the very top and rocks it. With an outboard, it sits here and your drive goes out the back here. So it's more of an inline push against the whole transom. With the mud motor, it's on top and it puts more stress on it, I guess. Or that's my logic on it. So let's go to the bottom right. This is the current layout. This is the side view right here. We have the seat. There's a little lip on it. This is the triangle piece, not to scale. That's about to scale, but it's not exact. These are the bolt holes, drain plug, and the transom wood, as I said, only goes down 12 inches. It doesn't go all the way to the floor. There are little square pieces that sit like this. There's 2 of them on the inside of the boat. So what we're going to do is remove this triangle piece. There's going to be holes in the bottom of the boat. I'm going to be getting rivets. We're going to play around with different style of rivets to see which ones last longer and how they hold up. So we got to worry about sealing those holes. We got to seal holes on the transom. It's going to be a lot of fun. So test layout 1. This one seems the most solid to me. We're keeping everything in line. This is your center line here. And same up here. The only issue with this is that I don't feel like it's supporting the top enough. It still has this 1/4 inch T6 6061 or 6062 aluminum plate on here. That should help, but I would feel better if I went with test layout number 2. Now this is where I'd like to ask you guys to see if you prefer one over the other. I'm mainly choosing 2x4s because everybody can learn how to work with wood. It's easy, simple, hard to screw up. It's cheap, inexpensive, and everybody can build with it. You see a lot of guys doing the square aluminum tubing and all that fun junk. I don't want to weld. I don't want to braze aluminum. I don't want to get into that. I want to be easy for everybody so that they can do this if they so choose. So I'm going with 2x4s. The problem with wood that everyone does not like is that it rots and it does degrade. To prevent that, using epoxy coating makes it hard as a rock, permanently waterproof. The only thing that'll damage it is the sun. The sun does degrade the epoxy. You can fix that 2 ways. The main way is to block the sun from getting to the epoxy. So you got to put a coat on it, whether that's polyurethane or different resin, or the main thing that I'm going to use is paint. Nice and cheap. Everybody can do it. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll test it out. That's how I'll do it. So we're going to go 2x4s, epoxy it, paint it. Should be forever. Another issue that I hear a lot is that I use steel with the aluminum. They say it's going to rust a hole in my boat. Dissimilar metals. I'll go ahead and test that again. I haven't had an issue so far. It's been multiple years, and I'll do it again, and I'll keep you updated on it if there's any issues with it. Haven't had any issues so far. I do use 5200 in between the boat and the screw, so maybe that's why they're not completely touching or rubbing up against each other, however that works, but no issues so far. With the rivets on the bottom, I want to do 2 different tests. We're going to use one, a solid rivet. This is a solid piece of aluminum, goes through, you hammer it together from the bottom side and the top side. Second rivet is like a pop rivet, but it's sealed on the end instead of having the hole. So we're going to use those 2, play with them, and see which one works better over time. And that's what I use to cure the hole on the bottom of the boat. And then up here at the top, we are going to just bolt this wood together and make all that work. That'll be fine and easy. Transom wood. So as you see at the bottom right here on the current layout, this wood originally in here is 1 inch thick. The top rail is an inch and a half to inch and 3/4. They have some extra room in there. I don't know why they didn't fill it, but we're going to go ahead and fill it. So we are going to use a thicker wood. We're going to epoxy the whole plate. It's going to be glued together. This should be a forever transom after this. So the main reason for fixing this transom or repairing it is the mud motors that I've put on it has put a lot of stress on it, and I guess it's just not meant to handle it. So what I did at first was put this transom plate on. With the transom plate, it helped, but after doing the last few tests, I can really start to see that transom bow, and when you get it from a side view, you can see that it's greatly bending and needs to be put back in place. So what we're going to end up doing is taking the wood out of the transom. The wood in there is rotten. It's not that old. There's a lot of space in there. There's a lot of movement. It's just not a solid built boat. So we're going to go ahead and take that wood out. Once we get to actually getting out there and getting it done, then we'll know further. But for now, I just want to get the layout set. So we're going to keep that metal plate on the back, and we're going to take out the old wood, put new wood in, seal that wood, and make it a little thicker, stronger. Um, we are also going to remove and permanently take away that bottom uh, triangle piece that supports the transom, and we're going to put in our own supports for the transom. I want to tie this into the rear seat. This will be, that seat is about 14, 16, maybe 18 inches from the transom. The transom angle is about 17, maybe 18 degrees. So the easiest material that I thought to work with would be wood. So we're mainly going to be working with wood. I'm going to seal it with epoxy, and then after that, you need to protect the epoxy from the sunlight. So we're going to go ahead and paint it. Um, so that's going to be the main guidelines that you guys need to know. So that's the plans for now. If you're interested in them, go ahead and subscribe. I'll try to get the videos out here soon. Haven't started yet. We're just starting to get into December, and it's just now starting to get cool out, which will help greatly with working on the John boat. So if you're interested in it, again, please subscribe. Stay tuned. I'm not posting as regularly as I have been, so maybe hitting the notification bell will help. I'm still going to try to upload on Saturdays in the morning. Seems to be a good time. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. And until then, thank you for watching. This is JT Gatoring.